in this Tipiskaupismuasis, this means that entity in the sky, and Pisim is nighttime.
Nighttime.
And Awasis is daughter, so it's basically, I guess, daughter of the moon.
Oh, mine is very simple. It's Anawayo. It means a person who beats the hide, who cures the hide.
Oh, good.
My daughter, she's named Garanatata. She makes the leaves fall. And my oldest son is called Ganawayando, Little Swamps. And the one that was just here, that's Doadenyo, he changes. And the youngest one is called, because he was born between the two moons, we call him the Harakogo, between two moons.
My daughter is named Okimikwobinishish, and in my language, like my mother, my auntie and my grandmother, I guess they gave that name to my daughter. And this means queen bird, eagle. Eagle, female eagle.
Yeah.
And my grandson's name is Kinyu. In my dad's language, that means eagle.
What is the significance, the spiritual significance of giving the name in native tradition?
Well, in our native tradition, each name has, like a name follows a clan. When you name a person, you usually pick a name that's within that clan, the bear clan. But my kids, since they're in the wolf, because my wife's a wolf, so they have to go under the wolf clan. So you'll pick names that belong to the wolf clan. So that's basically what our way is, that the women holds the how you say, like you'll follow the family line to the men in the white society. Well, to the Mohawk and with the Six Nations, you follow the women.
Most Indian nations is the same way. It's matriarchal society.
But we found that the men's lately have adapted the white man's way and want to be the big bosses, and kind of like showed a lot of disrespect to the women's. And we've noticed that quite a bit around, that they're losing what we've been taught from the time the Ganawida came down, or what we call the peacemaker, and he brought this great law to us. And the first nation to accept it was the Mohawk Nation. And when he brought that law, it was the perfect law. One person asked me, he said, "I guess you think your law is the perfect law?" I said, "It has to be." I said, why are so many nations trying to destroy it? Because I said, when Britain came here, they couldn't accept it because it made all people equal. There was no royalty, there was nobody sitting above anybody. Everybody was even. Even the chiefs didn't sit above the people, they sat with the people. Because they say that we follow, they call it, our great tree is a pine tree, the tree of peace. And the reason that is because if you look in the forest of pine trees, there's not one above any other, they're all equal. So that's what was the message to us, that we always follow that. Plus, on the pine tree, it shows the original 5 nations. If you take a white pine, take the quill out, there's always 5. And that's our 5 nations.
I was told by one of the elders to tell the people here that they should take one of each of the different kinds of pine. There's 4 different kinds of pine. Each pine needles from each of those, wrap them in red cloth when they're going to court. Because that's what they're fighting for. That's what their whole problem was with the white pine, with the pine trees. And so they should take the needles from those pines. And those needles represent warriors.
Well, the thing is that, everybody says, the fight was for Ganasatagi. It was not. It was the fight wound up to be for the nation, all the nations.
Thank you.
It wasn't just for just little people. At first, it started for a piece of land. But somewhere along the way, a lot of us say that it was never, it was never planned. It was something that wasn't set, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is something that the Creator decided to do. That's why none of us got hurt. We went through a lot of pain, but that's part of fighting for something you believe in. And there comes our little.
Hi.
Come on.
Hi.
So that that's basically what it was all about. It was about what went on, what's going on. Since Christopher Columbus came, how many Native people have been killed? I couldn't believe when I heard it.
I couldn't either.
100 million. 100 million Native.
95% of all the population of South America and North America.
Some nations have been wiped out totally. This year in Newfoundland, one nation was completely wiped out because they put a bounty like they did an animal. And a lot of people get mad at me, especially people from the Dutch. They get mad at us because our first treaty was with the Dutch. And one guy said, well, he said, he said those French people, he said they brought the scalping. I said, no, you're wrong. I said the Dutch was the first one to bring the scalping. Then I says the French. The French did it when they were after the natives out in Newfoundland. They found that the heads were too bulky, so they showed them how to cut the head out, the hair off.
It's funny how the history has changed.
Yeah, well.
Not funny, but.
Well, the old saying, when there's a battle, when the natives beat the army, it's a massacre. When they attack a village and kill all women and children, it's a victory. But you guys want to go play downstairs?
So, just to return, because we are not actually at the moment doing the actual filming.
Mm-hmm.
It's just off material to show in Finland that we have made contacts and there are people who are willing to help us all the time. Could you say in this stage, I don't remember if you said your name and your position in the Mohawk society.
My name is Anawayo. I'm of the Bear Clan. English, it's John Cree. I'm a faith keeper in the Longhouse here in Ganassadagi. Basically, that's what my title is here.
What does the faith keeper mean?
Well, faith keeper means that you have the duty to continue your traditional ways and to help the kids learn, and also to perform the ceremonies that are required. And basically, is to always be there for your people when they need you to do the ceremonies.
Is this thing that like very often like in a Christian tradition, which is in a way absurd, they can become priests by reading something? I mean,
no, it's...
So would you tell about what is the difference for if you would have to say to a white man who are very insensitive to things, who don't live with the nature, how would you describe of becoming a spiritual person? And what does it mean?
To become a faith keeper, or a medicine man, or even anybody that has the power, it's not a nice thing. It's something that you have a burden for your people all the time, and you're always feeling the pain of what your people go through. And to be that, it's not something that somebody's going to go out and look for. It's something that just happens to you. Like a lot of times I ask my wife, I said, how did I get into this? How did I start doing this? And I don't know. I don't know when I started, and I don't know when I'm going to stop. The elders always told me that when you're going to stop is when the Creator takes you. And when you finish your job on the earth, what you got to do for your people. And and as far as for a religion, we don't have a religion. Not in the sense of way that what the white man looks at as a religion, where he goes to church and gives thanks once a week to his God. We don't take one day to give thanks. It's every day. When we get up in the morning, we're reminded of the gift of the beauty and everything that He provides for us, and with our mother, because remember that there's a tie between our Mother Earth and us, because that is our mother. She takes care of us. She nourishes us. She feeds us. She looks after us. And also we have the responsibility to look after her, to care for her. Just like the Creator, we have the responsibility to answer to Him. That's why, you know, in like they brought in this what we call Handsome Lake was brought in, and they have confessions. It isn't in our ways, because they say that you have to deal with only one person, that's Him. You can't deal with somebody else. You can't have somebody forgive you for what you've done wrong. It has to be, you have to deal with Him. You have to know when you're forgiven. And that's one of the hardest things. That's why people look for ways where somebody can say, well, I forgive you. I know, I confess to these sins and I'll be forgiven. But, you know, that's just a cop-out. That's just like, you know, having somebody just say, well, okay, you done wrong, but you can go now. And you can go and do it again. But it isn't so.
So, how would is there possible ways of like, of course, this is auto-knowledge in the sense, in a way, again, auto-knowledge. But as we are trying to approach, we could say, more the general public in there to start to wake up a little bit, emotions, maybe some kind of a inner feeling. So could you describe what it means to be connected in that sense, to, you know, that you have a connection with like spiritual world, or the Creator and the earth, and just by your own words, how could you describe it?
Describe it. It's a sense of peace, a sense of strength. Whenever you see something destroyed, it's like somebody ripping a piece of skin off of you. When you see your people, maybe in Arizona or somewhere, being attacked, it's like they're attacking you. It's everything. When somebody kills an animal for no reason, but just because they want to kill, it's something that hurts you, because that's part of your family. Because it's a family. It's a big family. It's a family with the animals and the planet. And she, you know, in a way that when we look at the ground, that's our mother. When we walk upon her, we can feel her warmth. Also, we can feel her strength when we need it. And whenever we're down, we can always look at our Creator and always talk to Him. Because when the Sky Woman, which became, our mother, our Mother Earth, when she came down, she brought two plants with her. One was the strawberry, one was the tobacco. Strawberry was the heart of our Creator, the medicine. That's why whenever we have festivals, we have strawberry juice, because that's part of Him. That's our healing. The other one was the tobacco, what we still plant today. That tobacco is the way we talk to Him. When we burn that tobacco, He says that our words will carry on the smoke and reach Him, and He'll hear us. And you know, to believe in Him, you know, what we have in the traditional people, the ones who follow this great law, the ones who follow the ways of our ancestors, and we're not backwards like everybody thinks we are. A lot of us are very well educated. But the thing is that what we believe in is that you have to respect everything on earth. Because if you don't, then you're disrespecting your Creator and disrespecting your mother. Everything ties in. We are still hooked up to her. Like a baby is hooked up. When a baby is born, he has that umbilical cord. But we haven't cut ours yet. We're still part of her. We're still, you know, when she feels pain, we'll feel pain. That's the way it is. It's hard to explain. To a non-native, he cannot understand that. Because he has become where money means more to him. And conquering and taking. Where native people, through the histories, have been willing to share. But the non-native wasn't willing to share. When he said share, he meant all of it. He didn't mean, well, I'll stay on my side and you stay on your side. It's like the True Wampin says, that we will walk together. He'll walk on his path and I will walk on our path. We will not cross. He'll have his laws, his religion, his government will be all there. We will have the same on our side. We will not interfere with one another. We kept our word. They didn't. See, that's what spirituality with us, it's not just talking about the Creator, it's our government, it's our nation. It's everything. When we meet and to discuss business, the first thing we do is we start it with an opening, a Thanksgiving address, to remind the people of what we see out there. That remind him that our Mother Earth is still providing food for us. That we still have water to drink. That the bugs are still doing their job that the Creator gave us. That the medicines are still in the woods. That the little people are still planting them so we can take care of ourselves. And we got to remember the animals that are providing the food and the clothing for us. And the trees that provide the fire, provide the maple that provides the sap, the healing. Then we go to the birds that provide the feathers that we can have those beautiful headdresses. In our ways, we call them gastoas. The eagle that sits on the top of our great pine, that watches our nation, that looks so far. If any danger comes, he'll scream and let us know, because that's his job. And then we go up to the heavens, where our what we call our brother. I get mixed up in English, but when we get our brother who comes around and keeps us warm and provides energy and strength to us. Then our grandmother who takes care of us, and who the women follow, their monthly, and all our traditional beliefs are in her. That's when time for us to plant. She tells us when to plant. She tells us everything when it's time to do something. Then we go to our grandfather who brings the rain, the thunder, and he washes our mother and makes her new again. Then we go to our grandfather Adui, who we call people know him as the false face, whose main job is to look after us and to take care of us and not to let us get sick, and to make sure no harm comes to us. Then we go from there, we go to the holder of the heaven, the one who holds the heavens for us, and is there to look after us. And if we're ever in trouble, we can always call his name. He'll come down and help us.
Are these to you, are they existing entities, like godly beings? Like godly beings in that sense?
No.
Can you if I could ask this way, that are they something that you experience in yourself or somehow?
Well, they're there. It's like the great pine, the great tree of peace. People say, well, where's that great tree of peace? He's right here. He's in front of us. Where is Adui? Adui, a lot of kids have seen him. Our grandfather, because he was left here on earth to roam and to look after us. We have seen him, my son have seen it, but he's there. Our ancestors, they're there. There's some you don't see, but they're there, because when you talk to them, they respond to you. Not in a voice, but in what happens. Everything, a lot of people say, you're full of it, but they can believe that. But I know, and a lot of our people know. A lot of people know on July 11th, we would have been all dead if our Creator didn't listen to us. Because there was no wind. It was a day, it was so calm. When they shot all the tear gas at us and everything, the wind came from the back of us, from the woods, and just blew all the smoke and everything into the police. That's an answer. And you weren't there, but I was. if you would have seen the bullets that came in from the cops, and still and nobody died, it's hard to believe. But we said one word: whatever they throw at us, send it back to them. So, in a way that I guess that if the cops wanted to kill somebody, but it went back. You know, and to us, the pain that happened, that came over us, even though it was, he wasn't a native, the pain that came to our minds when he died, even though he came in shooting at our people, we still felt pain because it was a life that shouldn't have died. It shouldn't have happened. And a lot of us were very angry over a golf course. This shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's absurd.
So, you know, it's hard to explain Native spirituality. It's not in the same way that you would look at yours. You know, you have a big building, you have all kinds of statues, you have a priest or a minister or a rabbi or whatever standing there telling you what you're doing wrong or this and that, reading from his book. But with us, it's not like that. You have the women who come and talk to you. Because the women play a big role in us. When a woman tells us not to do something, we have to listen. Because they hold the land. They hold the children. They hold everything. Because with us, everything follows from our mother. She gives life to us. Our women give life to our children. It's the continuing of life. And you know, there's so many movies made about natives, about, you know, killing kids and stuff like that, but we never do that. We don't kill kids. Even elders who talked to us and talked about capturing young kids and a long time ago and mentioning how they adopted them because it was against their way to kill anybody. And see, when we took the great law, we accepted peace, no violence. It said only there that we would pick up arms if we are attacked, but we would never pick up arms against our own people. But see, in Algusasne, what they did is they picked up arms against their own people. They broke their law. They broke the biggest law. The worst thing they could ever done was when they picked up arms and started shooting against one another. But we say that has to be dealt with. In time, we have to talk about that and kind of like bring it back. You know, they don't like to hear it, but that's the way it was. You can't change it. The law says you cannot change the law the way you want it. The law was put down in a certain way, and we have to follow it.
So how would you, or I don't know, what is your idea in the sense that were all the religions originally the same?
I think what happened...
Without these forms which are more like man-made.
You know what I really believe is that in the white society, at one time there was a religion similar to ours, but men have become, wanted to control. So they made up religions to control. Then they fought who was going to get not the congregation, but who was going to get the followers. And it became religion against a religion. You know, it pains me when I see, like in Ireland, you have the Catholics fighting the Protestants. And isn't religion supposed to promote peace? Why does it promote wars, killing? You know, and that was the point of it. What we don't what the white society has lost. They lost this. They've listened to a book. And they listened to a mortal like you and me telling you that you're wrong, that you have to do it this way, does he know that that's the way to do it, or is he just trying to manipulate the people to have them do it his way? Where we're not allowed. I can listen to you, and if there's two arguing, I cannot take sides. I have to sit in the middle there and listen to both.
Is this typical attitude for the native people, or is it this just your position as a spiritual person in a society?
I beg your pardon?
Not to take sides.
No, it's with all our people. You're not supposed to take sides. But like I said, a lot of our people have kind of like going away from the traditional ways. And now we're getting a lot of violence in the communities and stuff like that because they don't listen. They don't. They want to have. They follow the white man's way. If I got a bigger fist and I can knock you down, then I'm going to have my way.
This is actually very interesting in a way, because especially when you meet young people in white society, everybody is talking about their own way, and I feel very often it is more like, I have the opinion, and it is not. It's actually totally opposite of what you are saying, that you don't take sides.
No.
In a sense, but there are very strong opinions about everything.
See, the whole thing of our belief is that there's no problem that cannot be solved. You just have to take the time, and you have to have the will to solve it. And you don't have to have it completely your way. You have to I hate to use negotiate, but you have to work out something that you can both be happy with. Even though it's not 100% what you want, but as long as you can live with it. That's what our nation had built ourselves, our longhouses. We had 3 clans, and they would meet. The wolves would be the whale. They would bring in the problem of a person. They would throw it over to the bears. The bears would discuss it and find a solution. And they'd throw it back to the wolves and tell them, well, this is our solution to this problem. And if the wolves liked it, well, they said, okay, that sounds good. Then they throw it to the turtle. If the turtle refuses and said, no, I don't think that solution's good, it has to go all back again until they can find something that is unanimous, that everybody agrees on. And it says when we meet that we always had to have a good mind. And we ask the Creator to wash our eyes so we can see everything, to clean our ears so we can hear everything. And to have us so we don't talk loud, so we can, and not to use harsh words when we talk, but to talk softly.
This is what I have especially noticed with the native people, especially with men, that they have this very much gentleness, which is almost completely lacking both from men and women in especially white societies.
Mm-hmm.
In blacks there is more tenderness and so, but this seems to be very much like the original quality in a way.
But if you notice with the society, they don't want to show pain. Men don't like to show feelings.
Yeah.
But see, we're taught that. Not to be afraid to show that you do care. Not to be afraid to cry, because it's not a shameful thing. It's expressing your feeling, your pain, and you can deal with it. See, with us, we're very emotional people. And we let our emotions come out. And when something bothers us, we let it come out instead of holding it in and saying, I'm tough, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to let them do this to me. That's bullshit. You have to understand in order to work it out. You got to learn to understand one another. And I remember I went to a United Church. I did a workshop for them. And I told them, they said, well, what can we do to help our people? Well, I said, in the first place, you got to treat your people. The main thing. And I said, it's a small word, but it's one of the hardest words to live up to. And the woman said, what is that? I said, that's his respect. To respect one another. To respect another person's belief. Even though it's not yours. To respect them that is what they want. And not try to make them go your way. I said, that's the difference. It's look what you've done to our native people. You've made them into alcoholics. You've made them into people that have no feelings now. They've gotten hard and mean. And I says, well, our people weren't like that. I says, why? Why would you want to change something that was good? I can see you change something that's bad, but why? I said, it's because it was not your way. You didn't want it. You didn't want them to be that way. You want them. It's like when the first white settlers came here, said, we're going to make Christians out of you, so you can go up and see your God. But they didn't realize that we always saw our God. He was always with us. When we looked out there, we're looking at woods. He's there on one of those trees. You can grab a tree. You ever grab a tree and hug it? You can feel the warmth. You can feel the strength. Something about it. Even a rock. You sit on a rock for a while. It totally relaxes you because there's energy. Because he's all true. He's giving energy. You know, there's a story about when the twins were born. It was called Squadison and Skanagoati. So to us, there's no devil. He's more of a joker. He's mischievous. He gets into everything. He disrupts everything. Where the other brother was going around, he started